Friday, July 28th, Friday, July 18th, 2025. And a lot's going on in the world, and we'll be talking about that here on World Edition. And we'll see who joins us as part of our regular panel and what they've got on their mind as well. But a lot is going on in the world. There is no doubt about that. Trump tells Bondi to seek release of Epstein grand jury testimony. So Trump has asked Bondi to seek release of any and all pertinent grand jury testimony around the Epstein investigation. So that is something that we're seeing as well. So we'll see what goes on in this space. And along those lines, House sends cuts to foreign aid, PBS, and NPR to Trump's desk. So NPR and PBS funding cuts were decades in the making, according to the New York Times. And we'll see how this all plays out as well. And millions could face higher ACA premiums and lower subsidies. And of course, there will be sticker shock with that, is what some people are reporting as well. So definitely that is something that folks are paying attention to and seeing what's going on in that space. And clashes erupt again in Syria's Soweto between the Bedouin and the Druze fighters. So definitely that is something that folks are talking about in the news and around the news and all along those kind of ways. So definitely that is something that is in the news reports, and we'll get into some conversations about that as well. So definitely, some people are asking who are the Druze. That's the religious minority at the center of Israel and Syria's tension. Uh, there on BBC, the Zawadi Druze residents described the bloodbath in the Syrian city, and regional powers are clashing after Israel targets Syrian territory in defense of the vulnerable Druze civilians. And Israel has agreed to allow Syrian troops limited access to Zwedi. And definitely that's something that folks are talking about in terms of world news. EU's new Russian sanctions aim for more effective oil price cap. So EU targets Russia with toughest sanction package in years. They've agreed to new Russian sanctions after Slovakia dropped its opposition, and the EU is lowering their price cap for Russian crude under the new sanction package. And Israel says it deeply regrets strike on Gaza's only Catholic church and pledges an investigation. Christian leaders make a rare visit to Gaza following the deadly Israeli church attack. So definitely that's something that's going on. And Netanyahu called Pope Leo the 14th after the deadly Israeli strike on the Gazan church. And a statement of condemnation by the North Atlantic Council concerning some of Russia's malicious attacks. UK places sanctions on Russian spies over cyber and poison attacks. So definitely that is something that folks are paying attention to in that part of the world as well. And it looks like thousands of Afghans were secretly relocated to the UK. And in The Guardian, folks are asking why they were relocated. But the UK government has secretly relocated thousands of Afghans to Britain for about 2 years. So definitely, this is something that's going on in terms of British politics. And floods and heavy rain are killing dozens in Pakistan. The Pakistan monsoon rain killed 63 in 24 hours. So definitely that's something that folks are talking about as well, as children make up a half of the more than 170 killed in those Pakistan floods. And Washington diverts patriots bound for Switzerland to support Ukraine. So U.S. diverts patriot systems from Switzerland to Ukraine, and Ukraine awaiting details on billions of dollars worth of weapons promised by Trump. So we'll see how this is all going, but it looks like Ukraine will be boosting its domestic arms production in the war with Russia, according to what Zelensky has said. And North Korea bans foreign tourists to a newly opened beach resort. And definitely that's something that folks are talking about as well. And facing threats, and leading human rights groups, like I said yesterday, are exiting El Salvador. Top rights groups leave El Salvador after threats from its government. So definitely that is something that is going on in the news as well. And Ukraine targets Moscow as Russia reports shooting down more than 140 drones. And we were talking about that on yesterday as well. So like I said, a lot's going on in the world and around the world, but definitely we know a lot's taking place in the United States as well. So I'll get to some of those stories in a matter of a minute or so and see what they've got to say about what's happening in that part of the world here in the West and what's going on with our situations and all along those lines. So this ought to be interesting to see what folks have to say about a number of these kinds of stories and all along those lines. But in the U.S., there is Congress voting to strip more than $1 billion in funding for NPR and PBS. So definitely, this is something that folks will be talking about and seeing how it impacts what goes on in the PBS land and all along those lines. So we'll definitely see what goes on in that case. And in Texas, Paxton is threatened to arrest Democratic lawmakers if they flee to block certain things that he is wanting and all along those lines. And Newsom jolts California with bid to throw out house maps. Some people are saying that that is a crazy hill to die on. At least that's what was reported in Politico. And definitely, even the Rolling Stones said, five-alarm fire, Texas Dems sound off on Trump's bid to gerrymander midterms. So it looks like Trump wants Texas to redraw its congressional maps to pick up more GOP seats. But we'll see if this works in his favor or not. And Trump immigration raids have moved north to Sacramento. No such thing as a sanctuary state. So Fed's California Home Depot raid nabs 11 illegal immigrants, one with 67 prior jail bookings, according to Fox News. And Border Patrol agents raid a Home Depot in Northern California. So it looks like they're going into areas of Northern California, just not just in the Los Angeles area, but in other parts of California as well. And Philip Baumgartner, the daredevil who jumped from the stratosphere, has passed away paragliding. So definitely he had jumped from the edge of space, but now he has died paragliding and all along those lines. And he was a stunt legend, and they're saying he may have had a heart attack in the air before crashing to his death in that paraglider. And he's the person that broke the sound barrier in 2012, and he is now passed away at the age of 56. And Trump's new Alcatraz could cost somewhere in the neighborhood of $2 billion. That's right, I did say $2 billion. That's the cost that they are putting on this at this particular moment and along those lines. So they're saying that it could cost somewhere in the neighborhood of $2 billion, and we'll see what folks have to say about that price tag and if they've got any commentary on that as well. But definitely that is something that is being reported that it is going to cost somewhere in the neighborhood of $2 billion and all along those lines. And Ron Wyden is definitely a Democrat who won't let go of the Jeffrey Epstein case either. So we'll see how this goes on. And Raskin notes bipartisan urgency for the DOJ, the Department of Justice, to release all Epstein files. So Republican plot in game on recession package and Epstein files. And actually, I was watching Stephen Colbert yesterday, and he was talking about that kind of package as he had one of the Democratic leaders on the show. And actually, that Democratic leader was actually telling Trump to piss off on that particular show and all along those lines. And Stephen Colbert did announce that next year will be his last year and that there will not be anybody replacing him in that slot. So it looks like his long run as a talk show host in terms of being on that network will be coming to an end next year and all along those lines. Brazilian police have raided the home of ex-President Bolsonaro, seizing cash and other items as well. So definitely looks like Trump ally was detained and tagged over asylum fears. So that is something that folks are talking about as well. So definitely we'll be interested to see what folks have to say about that, if anything, what their commentary is on that particular story, since we know that that is one that people are paying attention to as well. So definitely a lot's going on in the world, even in the sense of some of Trump's allies and all along those lines. So definitely that is something that people are talking about and paying attention to in terms of what's going on in the world and world affairs. Epstein prosecutor Maureen Comey letters to colleagues after the DOJ firing. Some people are asking for those to be read and everything. Trump-driven chaos comes to U.S. Attorney's Office in waves. So it looks like there is a feud going on between Trump and the Comeys, and it looks like that feud is going to continue and all along those lines. And it looks like there might be three tax breaks that will change this year because of what is called the Big Beautiful Bill. So, one Big Beautiful Bill offers Americans lots of tax benefits, and definitely some people are looking forward to that. Rum, fisheries, and a sculpture garden is what some people are saying are the quiet winners in Trump's big bill, according to the New York Times. So, there are some people that apparently are winning something, including maybe a sculpture garden, and all along those lines. And most U.S. adults think the GOP tax bill will help the wealthy and harm the poor. That is according to a survey that is out there now as well. So Trump struggles to market his tax law that 61% of voters oppose. Donald Trump's budget, healthcare, tariffs, and abortions. Definitely, that's something that folks are talking about as well on YouGov. So definitely, it looks like that's going on. And good trouble protests against Trump's deportation and healthcare cuts were held around the nation, I believe, and definitely there in the D.C. area and all along those lines. And that was in tribute to the late great John Lewis. So Good Trouble lives on. National Action Day organizers held a rally in Annapolis. So it was actually there in Annapolis that the rally took place. I'm sure there might have been some concurrent events in other parts of the uh, nation as well, but the main one was in Annapolis. And Brazil's Lula says Trump's tariffs is an unacceptable blackmail. So Trump's Brazil tariffs threatens to rekindle support for President Lula. And Lula says he won't take orders from foreigner Trump and calls those tariffs, as I said, blackmail. And Trump is targeting solar and wind with tighter federal permitting and another blow to the renewable energy. Trump adds a new level of scrutiny to wind and solar projects. So that is something that is going on. And some folks, including those at Politico, are saying definitely playing favorites. Interior memo could strike dire blow to the wind and solar industry. And as Democrats walk out, Republicans advance the judicial nomination of Emil Bove. So, dear God, Democrats stormed out of the vote on the controversial Trump nominee. So that is definitely something that folks are talking about as well. So even Trump allies are reportedly getting a jump on their 2026 elections. Trump Department of Justice contacted states for voter data, access to voting machines, according to some sources, and all along those lines. And the Colorado Secretary of State is investigating after a GOP consultant called county clerks to gain access to those voting systems. And storms are crawling along the Gulf Coast, and they're raising the risk of flooding. So, Gulf tropical disturbance, a flood threat in Louisiana, Mississippi, including New Orleans. So, definitely it should be interesting to see how this plays out as that storm looks like it's heading that way. And the Senate votes to advance Trump spending cuts is bad news. Some people are saying for Susan Collins, the Maine Senate race could help decide the control of Congress. So it looks like she was dealt a new polling blow ahead of her 2026 midterm. And ICE is gaining access to trove of Medicaid records, adding new perils for immigrants. So ICE will get access to Medicaid enrollees' personal information to help find immigrants, and that is something that is also being reported as well. And Governor DeSantis, according to PBS, was feeling blindsided Florida county officials with his alligator Alcatraz plans. So it looks like they're saying that actually some of the Florida county officials were feeling blindsided by Governor DeSantis. And DeSantis is under fire for using disaster funds to build a migrant detention jail. So definitely a lot of people will be talking for a while about alligator Alcatraz. And Brian Koberger, judge lifts gag order after the Idaho killer confession. An Idaho judge has lifted a sweeping gag order in the Brian Koberger quadruple murder case. So that is definitely something that folks are talking about as well. So like I said, lots going on in the world, including the sad news of a 17-year-old boy arrested in connection with a paddleboarder killing that took place in Maine. So the cause of death revealed for a paddleboarder killed in Maine Pond as teenager was arrested for the murder that they are saying that was, and all along those lines. And defense may rest after Senator Nicole Mitchell testifies in her burglary trial She took the stand in the burglary trial, testifying she was worried for her stepmother and all along those lines. So definitely that's going on. And like we reported yesterday, the Trump administration has pulled $4 billion in federal funding for the California Bullet Train project. And Governor Newsom responds to Trump's latest gift to China, defunding America's only high-speed rail. And it looks like Trump administration is shutting down the LGBTQ youth suicide hotline. So Trump administration ends the 988 suicide crisis lifeline specialized service for LGBTQ plus youth. So LGBTQ advocates are bracing for Thursday's closure of the 988 Lifeline service. So that is a lifeline service that a lot of people are using, including some people in, or a lot of people in that particular community. And Louisiana police chiefs have been charged in an immigrant visa fraud scheme. Louisiana police chief among those arrested and accused in the bribery scheme to help foreign nationals get their visa. So looks like some GOP senators are also urging Trump administration to reverse the $6 billion education funding thing that was going on as well. So 10 Senate Republicans Trump hold on school cash runs contrary to promise of state control. So Delaware students are being used as political pawns, according to WDEL, and we won't stand for it as the Trump administration is withholding federal funding for education, and it looks like they're withholding about $7 billion in federal education fund as the school year approaches. And like I said, reported yesterday, the DOJ says the ex-officer convicted in the Breonna Taylor raid should get 1 day in jail. So it looks like he'll only be serving 1 day in jail. And in Wisconsin election officials determined the clerk broke the law over uncounted ballots. So that is some of the things that are going on, including some Supreme Court cases. Supreme Court allows Trump to proceed with Department of Education layoffs, and some people are wondering what that means for student loan borrowers and all along those lines. So, like I said, there's a lot going on here in the United States, just like there is going on in the world as well. So I've got John with me. We'll see what John's got going on in his world and everything like that, and what he's following as Trump just schemes to be tearing up stuff left and right. I was watching Stephen Kilberg recently, and he was saying that he actually had Adam the Democratic leader on and everything like that. And definitely, he even told him to, meaning Trump, to piss off and all along those lines. And it looks like we've got some voter roll stuff going on here in North Carolina. So the North Carolina launched a voter roll program that could disenfranchise tens of thousands, and the DNC is threatening to sue North Carolina election boards over plans to purge 100,000 voters. So it looks like, prodded by lawsuits, North Carolina is seeking to take its voter ID records for roughly 200,000 people. So that's a lot of folks that they're going to be trying to deal with, and all along those lines. So what's everybody's thoughts? How you doing, Jacoby and John? Like I said, it looks like us here today. So what's going on in y'all's gentlemen's worlds? You're on mute, John.
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry about last night. My phone died, so I missed, I guess, the last 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. No problem with everything. We got how are you doing, Jacoby? We got Dr. Sharif going here as well.
Doing okay.
Good.
Just working and trying to get some stuff done.
That's what you're always doing, trying to get stuff done. Hey, Dr. Sharif, how's things going in Malaysia? What's the latest news coming out of Bangladesh and Malaysia and your part of the world?
Uh, okay, let's focus on Bangladesh. Bangladesh has some political unstable conditions, uh, and most important factor is that we need election. Bangladesh definitely very small countries, and there are many international issues and lot more things. And I believe that we need to overcome from these situations, and we need a genuine elections and all of the things. My friend Mr. John actually shared with me some of the interesting insight about Bangladesh. So I appreciate Mr. John to sharing his thoughts, news, and all of the information and concern about Bangladesh. Secondly, if you focus on the economic market, uh, like uh, the economic situation that Indian shares uh, rally following strong US retail sales and corporate earning through Japan market, and uh, this is one of the interesting aspects. Maybe Japan and USA relationship uh, can bring some sort of impact in our dollars, in our economy, and all of the things. Secondly, uh, Indian gold demand is dips. It's very low right now, and cut into the consumer interest. So this is another interesting aspects of the economy. The South Asia, especially uh, all of our family heavily dependent on gold. So that's why the gold price is very high in South Asia. So India price is going down. This is also interesting aspect for me. And in terms of geopolitics, what I'm discussing that US and Asian tariff tensions. Countries like Vietnam, Japan, South Korea are locking in long term US LNG deals to ease trade pressures, raising concern over climate and financial risk. And secondly, in terms of our geo infrastructure energy, climate activists uh, green energy and green infrastructure is a very important aspect right now. China Belt and Road Initiative heavily investing in this particular things. As many of the tourists, they are not interested right now to visit North America. That's why the tourism industry is increasing, developing in Asia Pacific. And if you see our manufacturing hub, again, I am saying that Chinese manufacturing hub, they are actually investing in different small country like Bangladesh, like Vietnam, like Pakistan, uh, even Nepal and all of the countries. So this is an interesting move. Let's see uh, how this US tariff issues, this Asia Pacific handle. This is another important aspect. Definitely, US market is very big. US economy also very important, especially for businessmen. Let's say Bangladesh garments industry has dependency on US market. My friend John also informed about these US aid issues in Bangladesh. So let's see. It's very critical. On the other hand, very interesting aspects. Uh, let's see how it can create impact. Thank you for your question, and thank you all of our audience.
I do have a question for you, if I may, Dr. Sharif.
Yeah.
So the information I know I sent you was a lot. Has that in any way at least given you some pause in terms of your good words or about our about the American president these days?
Okay. First thing first. I'm very small man from a small country. I'm not enemy of US country, president or uh, my concern about the Bangladesh economy. So how you share your information? I definitely verified all of the information. It's genuine and effective. But what is my concern? What I'm trying to say, let's say, U.S. tariff. I born in a very small place. It's called Rajbari in Dhaka. Okay, our place it has let's say 2-3 million people live in Rajbari and these communities. I'm helping my community to develop these agro innovations, infrastructure, healthcare, and educations with the local corporations and government people. But try to understand what I'm trying to say. Like in this Rajbari, there is zero impact about US tariff. Why? Our economy do not have, let's say, this 20 million, 2 million people, sorry, these 2 million people do not have any direct relationship with USA economy. So if you focus on this small economy, we are very traditional, very traditional. That's why this microeconomics concept, what Dr. Mohammad Yunus has, it's work in Bangladesh because our economy mostly dependent on uh, social entrepreneur, mostly dependent on local economy, mostly dependent on our 171 million people. Okay, so yeah, definitely big corporations, big giants, big group of companies. They have business relationship with USA, with these governments, with Union, it has impact. But the grassroots level community, what I'm discussing, what I'm representing grassroots level communities. So grassroots level communities still all of the big discussions on APEC, even though this Asia Pacific big discussion, all of the big dialogue and tariff in USA, European Union, even in Asia, it does not has any impact because we run our economy with our own energy, with our own finance. Small things, but small things, it has great impact. So I will request all of the global business organizations or financial institutions, let's let's focus on this small or grassroots level community. They have their own survival way and it has their own beauty or something. But all of your concern about Bangladesh, informations, everything correct. I appreciate it. But
Yeah. So,
understanding,
yeah,
yeah,
yesterday you made the only reason I sent you that information because yesterday you were very specific, and you claimed that Trump's policies is helping your
yeah,
country. And I
still,
was kind of shocked to hear that, and that's why I sent you the information. I'm glad that you confirmed that the info that I sent uh, is genuine, like you said, and I hope
yeah,
you found it helpful.
thank you.
So I wanted to kind of push back on your statement yesterday, or your claim that his
No,
policies are helping your country, because
again,
that's not correct from what I
no, no, no.
understand.
No. Again, I want to strict my position. I respect your view. I 100% respect your information and all of the things. But still, I want to strict my positions because of these tariff issues. Country like China, they heavily investing in manufacturing industry in Bangladesh. That is the benefit for Bangladesh. I am very focused. You come up with all of the strategic issues, policy issues, these USAID issues. I respect it. I understand your point. But again, uh, when Trump imposed tariff to China and the manufacturing things, it's create a positive impact in terms of the investment. The Chinese corporations heavily they come to Bangladesh and they want to invest in manufacturing things. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. But I
We'll see what
respect
happens
you.
and everything along those lines, and good discussion and everything. But we've got Steve with us, and he doesn't always pop in because he's been busy campaigning and
Well,
everything. So I want
yeah,
to hear
I
what Steve's
wanted to
got going
stay.
on.
I wanted to stay longer, but I just had a meeting. I just want to thank everyone for being on today, and just lots of. I haven't really been keeping up with lots of global events. So busy in my campaign, but I think it's amazing. We got to see what's playing out with Ukraine and Russia with Trump. He had some issues with his veins and his legs. He's okay. And all eyes in North Carolina politically on what Governor Roy Cooper, former governor, is going to do, whether he's going to run for the U.S. Senate. And I think all eyes on what's going to happen to the Congress and Senate. And already hearing rumors of Pete Buttigieg running, Rahm Emanuel running for president. I know for a fact Andy Beshear is going to run. I know him professionally, the governor of Kentucky, and Westmore, and whether Harris runs. So people are already lining up for presidency in 28. Very disruptive times, and we're all trying to see what the economy is going to get better, Mark. And I don't know if there's any other issues that
Well, Steve, one of the things they were talking about was this notion of voter ID. I brought it up, and it is in North Carolina. So, what are you hearing about this notion of maybe as many as 200,000 votes being possibly purged from the polls and everything like that because of the voter ID and the trying to be stricter on voter ID?
I have been hearing some rumblings in North Carolina about it.
But
That I think that people are. I do know for a fact that that the state auditor has been talking about taking it off the rolls in North Carolina. I really believe that, in my opinion, I don't think it's right to require voter ID because you don't need voting is a right guaranteed by a constitution. It's not a transaction like you're going on an airplane or whatever. So, and some people just don't have IDs. So I really believe that when you look at the voter ID requirement, when you look at House Bill 858, North Carolina, which is putting all kinds of restrictions on voting. I think you need to create environments where you encourage people to vote. So that's my take on it, Mark. I do think that it's going to be a litmus test in these elections. I think that in North Carolina, the legislature is stamping hard. Yesterday, there was the Good Trouble rallies. It went to 3 across the county, Cary, Raleigh, and Apex. And that's my take on it. And the other thing I'll add is that Donald Trump has asked the Attorney General to release testimony submitting the grand jury on Jeffrey Epstein. And American House of Representatives passed legislation regulating stablecoins, which is interesting. So, disruption in the Middle East, disruption in the economy, disruption everywhere. I mean, and I'll be back next week. It's going to be kind of a slower week. So now that I'm running for my primary in March, but not having to run for re-election. So, I'm feeling nostalgic. I'm going to take a run and remember. And Jacoby, I'll be calling you in about an hour. But hope you're all well. And that's my take on it today. And I'll be back next week.
Sounds good.
Steve, I was actually gonna say, yeah, I got to talk to you because a lot of stuff in the works like we were talking about the other day. I won't be able to make it tomorrow because the wife won't let me do it.
Okay, no worries.
Got back in town.
No worries. I'll give you a call in a couple hours.
Yeah, because I'm gonna need your help. We're spearheading this thing and it's happening. It's happening, Steve.
Okay, all right. Let's make it happen. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
I'll be here next week. Have a good weekend, everyone. Stay cool out there. Thanks.
Yeah, but definitely this heat wave ain't no joke. There's no doubt about that. I don't know how it is in Bangladesh and Canada, but the heat wave here in North Carolina is no joke whatsoever, as me and Jacoby can testify to, and all along those lines. But Jacoby, what's your take on the Epstein files and what's going on with that? Because it does look like they are trying to get Bondi to release some information, but maybe it's going to be retracted information.
So he can release 80 to 90% of it right now. He doesn't need the grand jury to do that. The grand jury is a distraction again, because that grand jury piece is only a very small piece that you have to go get the lawyers and the jury and the judges involved. So he could release a ton of it, but what he's doing again, hey, I'm going to talk to the grand jury. Oh no, the judges won't let me do it. Oh my goodness. That's why I'm kind of suspicious over the whole letter that just got released about him typing things up and drawing the picture of the naked lady thing. That letter that just got released yesterday. Because
that was from the Wall Street Journal.
It came out of a publication that is very friendly to Trump. So as much as this man is calling it a hoax and everything else, that piece being released could be part of a setup to later then say, oh, well, no, we stood up to Trump, but this is fake. I'm sorry. We just did. And Trump is right. It's all just fake. So, I mean, I'm a little weary and suspicious of that piece. But yeah, the grand jury testimony stuff, that can be released. The other stuff can be released. He can release 80 to 90% of the whole Epstein file stuff. The judge part, that's only like a very small piece, and this is just a distraction.
What? And in the past, weren't Murdoch and Trump friends? I thought they were friends at one point, even though I do know that I've heard people reporting.
They've been off and on friends. But the thing is, Rupert Murdoch the Murdoch guy who runs that old paper.
Right.
I mean, he's not really some I'm gonna get Trump kind of guy. He's, hey, I like Trump, I don't like Trump. I like Trump, I don't like. I mean, look at Elon Musk. Oh, Trump was on the Epstein file. Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. And then now he's back on. Well, you could. So it's the same thing. It's just the way. I mean, that group of leopards acts. And for some of the people that voted for him, yeah. They're hearing the song, "The Leopard Ate My Face."
Speaking of the leopard ate my face, and maybe Jock has some thoughts around this, but and even you, Jacoby and John, but where are we going with renewable energy? Because it seems like to be that definitely Trump wants it to go toward coal, and he just imposed some serious kind of like financial restrictions on the solar and wind and everything like that. So it seems like it's going to be more difficult for that to happen, even though I know even here in North Carolina there are some wind factories, and there are some even solar people that were doing some solar innovations. But it seems like they don't want that to happen
I'm
anymore. Are we moving away from?
I'm glad you mentioned that, Mark, because I think Sharif, one of the obviously policies of the Trump administration is not to invest in green energy, and he probably thinks climate change is a hoax or whatever. Um, Curious your thoughts about, because obviously Bangladesh, I think I mentioned in my email or yesterday on the call that
Uh,
Bangladesh did have problems with in the 80s with droughts and climate change and unpredictable flooding, etc. So what's your thoughts
yeah,
about
yeah,
Trump's policy
yeah.
of anti green energy? I'm sure
Okay,
you're concerned about that.
yeah, definitely. Let's say I'm developing climate leadership program with USA and Japan. Okay, with California Institute of Management, Tando, and Japan UN University. I developed it. I believe climate change. Secondly, Trump is against climate change, or his administration do not invest or whatever it is for climate change. But honestly speaking, last couple of years, let's say last 10 years, how much we get investment from USA for our energy sector, let's say for green energy sectors. I do not get any notable information from theirs. It means USA do not have enough investment in Bangladesh. Let's focus on Bangladesh. But if you see this Belt and Road Initiative from China, China Belt and Road Initiative, they heavily invest in our solar energy, wind energy. Even Japan also invest in solar energies and transportation and all of the sectors. So strategically, country or like Bangladesh uh, or Pakistan, even some point in India, Malaysia, uh, this infrastructure development investment come from China, from Japan, from World Bank, from Asian Development Bank. USA do not have lot of investment, so it does not has. Uh, Definitely, I will appreciate if USA invest more in green energy. Definitely, I appreciate your point. I respect your view, but in terms of practical things, most of the investment come from China, logically from China, all of the green energies. So from Japan, so or from the development partner. So I do not think in our energy sectors investment USA has any contribution. So it does not meaningful for our country policy, diplomacy, relationship, or whatever it is.
As
In
you
terms
know, the
of
Democratic Party has always supported green energy for the longest time. At one point, so did the
but
GOP. Republicans in the early 2000s, and in fact, they were close to, going down that path even further, energy. And then I think 2008, they kind of uh, veered off that path. So again, with Bangladesh, you supporting policies from the GOP, where typically, historically, the party that has supported green energy is, in fact,
yeah,
the Democratic Party.
yeah, it's honestly speaking, our present chief advisor, Dr. Muhammad Yunus, he win Nobel Prize for global peace, but his major contribution in economics with his microfinance institution. But he want to develop this 3-0, uh, that zero unemployed, uh, uh, zero carbon, okay, and all of the green innovations and technology, because he has a strong engagement with the left wing like this Democrats. But in terms of investment, I told you, you can see this Asia Pacific region, China doing very good with these small countries because they are heavily investing in this uh, infrastructure industries. Country like Bangladesh, Pakistan, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, Nepal, and all of the places. So that is the reason China economy is growing very fast because they are doing business, right? They are making a lot of money from these small countries.
I understand your point. So my only point I wanted to make is of the two parties in the U.S., if and when America decides to invest in your country, it won't be from the GOP. I hope you understand that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I understand this point, but okay, let's the America do not want. They even example. Let's say they do not have capacity to invest. So how come I ensure that? Because my country's people they need to survive, right? They need energy. Our manufacturing need to survive. Our everything need to survive. The country, those who come, those who help, they will be our real friend. Yeah. So Bangladesh is small. Honestly speaking, we do not have too much of influence in global economy. We are small. We are. I think that uh, uh, very let's say $500 billion every year in our GDP and everything. So yeah, let's see what is the impact and all of the things. Yeah. But our local business they heavily do business with China, right? So what you do?
Yeah, I understand that. Again, I just want to emphasize of the two parties in the U.S., one party would contemplate helping you. They would
Understand?
probably give it a lot of thought. One party will definitely not. I hope you
Understand. No, no,
catch
no.
my
I
point.
understand. I completely understand because Bangladesh, my family is also immigrant, right? So immigration issues and all of the economic policy definitely it has impact. So I completely understand your view. I respect your view. Again, I said it does not. I'm like just debating. I'm just trying to help you to understand the local internal situations, like country like Bangladesh. Yeah.
I appreciate it. A question you mentioned earlier, Doctor, that tourism to from your country to the U.S. has dropped significantly. I think you said. Why is that?
Because example when you restrict the tourisms and all of the things, so they will go, maybe they will go to Malaysia, they will go to Bangkok, they will visit Tokyo, they will visit Singapore, they will visit Dubai, right? So this way this tourism things is like transforming these countries because of a lot of restrictions. People are afraid with the immigration law. uh, let's say my family members they live in New York, so they are also afraid that what will happen, this and that. So this is the issues. Like many people actually shifting. They are go for tourism and all of the things in Asia, in Asian country.
Obviously, my question was again pointing to the administration of Trump
And
hurting you guys, not allowing uh, your countrymen to visit America, and in my opinion, that's probably not a good thing for many reasons. And yet,
definitely, definitely,
and yet,
definitely,
and yet,
definitely.
yesterday you said you like Trump's policies. Again, I'm sorry I keep emphasizing, and I sound like a broken record. I'm truly trying to understand how you got that
Yeah.
perspective, and you causing you for you to say what you said yesterday again was very confusing from my standpoint.
No, no. I just focus on again. I just focus on my point about this manufacturing industry. I send you email. You can check my record and informations. I just want to focus on my point. My point is not about tourism, not about immigrations. I just focus on the investment issues. Because of this tariff, you just check your email. You can see because of this tariff, China heavily investing in Bangladesh, and it's happening. And it's not just news. I'm closely working with my World Talent Economic Forum. We have friends from around the world, not only from North America, even from Asia. So China Belt and Road Initiative Executive Director, he's also part of my board. She's my very close professor and research partner. So they are investing in Bangladesh. That was the part. Again, that is the part. Do not mix with these tourisms, educations, green energy, or whatever it is. Focus point
Yeah,
is
so
getting
you
investment
you
from
didn't
China.
qualify your statement yesterday, and restricting your comments about because I heard a very general comment, and I took it that you liked his policies, you know, across the board.
Now,
So I'm glad you kind of distinguished between the two, and I just wanted to kind of emphasize, and that's why obviously I sent all the information to you yesterday.
Yeah, I also send you information so you can check. You can check your email. Yeah. Thank you. This is very healthy discussions and it's meaningful. Thank you. Thank you, Mark, organizing this kind of healthy discussions and meaningful intellectual contributions.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, trying to have those healthy discussions. But for those that are watching that don't know everything that you're doing, just kind of as we only got about 10 minutes ago, maybe you can explain a little bit about what the World Economic Talent Forum is and what some of your next programs are.
Okay, my World Talent Economic Forum purely focus on research and innovation. And from research and innovation, we develop some solutions, startup from our end. So let's say a country like Bangladesh, even in Africa, even in example China or in India, we have a lot of problem. So based on problem, we do research. I think I just share our recent book because country like Bangladesh or even Asia Pacific, many country we are heavily dependent on uh, agriculture. So I think around 82 universities scholar they contributing in this research book. I share two book. One is on artificial intelligence case study and another one in agropreneurship. So this year we are publishing this scientific research and we develop some solutions like AI agent, agricultural innovations with our local talent people. And we are developing our startup from this particular points. And our in our economy, honestly speaking, it does not have lot of contribution, let's say venture capital, what you have in USA, right? We do not get lot of support. So how we do this? We do this with our own local economic things, with our own things, and I get very good talents from this economy, from Middle East, from Bangladesh, from India, from China, from Japan. One of the good team they just meet with us. Even from Africa, African 17th country, they are working with me. So we do focus on talent. We do focus on youth and creating new solutions. This dialogue is important. Let's say we learn a lot of things from John, from Jetovi, from you, or all of our people. And we try to restructure our research model from this open dialogue. So that's why this Spot TV is very important. Your initiative is very important for us. And I want to give a special thanks to continue this kind of dialogue last 5 years and give me chance to do this same thing.
Yeah, no doubt about that and everything along those lines. So that's some real positive conversations going on in this sense for both you and Jacoby. Any new news coming out about AI? I know we talked about it before, but I haven't really been following it. So, what's the latest developments in the AI front? So, what are you
From
hearing?
from my side, I want to say that NVIDIA chairman he visiting China right now, right? And he is committing to invest in India, in China. Also, he visiting UK, and he is like encouraging all of the open source mode AI scientists or AI engineers, entrepreneurs, investors. That is actually a very good move. Like US company, beside this kind of tariff and all of the tensions, the US AI companies, the world largest company from Silicon Valley, they are positive about the Asian communities. I believe China doing excellent job in terms of AI research and innovations. Other Asian countries, let's say Japan, even Dubai, Singapore, India, some point in Bangladesh, many countries doing excellent job in AI research and innovations. In this relationship with Western world, with North America, with this NVIDIA contribution and investment, I think it will bring lot of solution for this world and lot of new things for this world. So I think that beside these tensions, beside this tariff and all of the things, the corporate like Nvidia, they should come to Asia and they should encourage and motivate and collaborate with the ecosystem. So that is very interesting move for me because he is visiting China and doing lot of commitment for Chinese scientists, especially for AI industry.
What's your take on that, Jacoby? How is the AI industry doing it. It looks like China's becoming the leading pioneer in that area.
Yeah, they're investing in technologies, just as Doc pointed out. Yeah, I mean, China's making a lot of investments. Everybody's starting based on. So, my take on the tariff discussion is essentially what I think a lot of other countries are starting to feel, um, because Trump has pushed a lot of other countries to invest in other different areas. China is now a partner with other countries that they hadn't been a partner with before. Um, Same thing with Japan. I mean, all other countries are doing a lot of stuff without us now. And that investment, for example, China's technology investments in AI are huge, and that's across the board. In energy, same thing with China and Japan. Japan's what is it, windless turbines, or the bladeless windmills. I think that's either Japan or China or some. One of the companies overseas is now doing the bladeless wind turbines, where it's grabbing the energy off of the vibrations and everything else, which is another innovation. Something that the U.S. used to lead on is now behind on because they aren't making those investments. And in AI, that's just going to be another example because they aren't making those investments. AI's biggest problem, which people consistently kind of ignore, which other individuals who are using AI and only think about, hey, I can type it in and I can get whatever. The industry's biggest hindrance is energy. Right now, you have every place overseas is investing heavily in energy technologies, from battery technology to, as I said, the bladeless windmills, the nuclear fusion technologies. With China leading the way, Japan is right behind. You have Germany that just put up 20 minutes or 20-30 minutes on the fusion reactor. I mean, I mean, without energy, you're not going to have it. And the AI technology and coding and everything else, we're not even leading in that. And we've the when people champion Trump went over to Saudi Arabia and did all this stuff with Saudi Arabia. Well, he made a deal to build all the AI technologies in Saudi Arabia. So that's not helping us, and that's not helping the U.S. It's just, yeah, AI is the next is a new evolution. Whoever's leading that AI technology is going to be a leader in many ways, and whoever's coding that technology is going to be the controller in many ways.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing that Trump just did was invest in what was it, the Genius Act that just got passed in the cover of night, where basically you're now pushing to a digital currency that's going to be placed on the cryptocurrency. Well, the U.S. is now backing a cryptocurrency and setting up stable coin, I think it is. And stable coin, of course, being that digital currency, now the government can control your bank account. If you don't follow this act, now the government can turn your bank account off. That's the Genius Act. And that was just passed yesterday. I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday.
Yeah.
But either way, it's just what we are looking to. The U.S. right now is looking to build more prisons.
Mhm.
Everywhere else is investing in technology, AI, energy, all this other stuff. That right there tells you where we're going.
Yeah. And on that note, since I'm kind of manning the ship on my own today and everything, I'm going to have to end this a little bit early and everything so I can get to Sasha and his show and all along those lines. But another fun discussion, and we'll be back on next week with more fun discussions around world issues and world affairs. So get ready to get us on out of here and everything so I can get to Russia, Ukraine, and China. And I think they're also recording the chess show later on today as well. So another fun discussion, and I'll see you gentlemen on next week.
Bye.